case, you need to learn how to control and manage your time, because it is a serious etiquette breach. One of the ways, of course, is to organize yourself the day before or even that same day. At other times, you need to actually be very careful and note how you're going to manage the hours as they go, the minutes. Always have a watch on you, because being late is sometimes taken as a very big offense, especially in business. Interrupted conversations can be very disconcerting. Have you ever been with someone who does not let you get a word in edgewise? No matter what you're trying to do, they always speak. You try and start a sentence and then you're cut short. In such cases, the best thing to do is to just wait quietly, let them finish, and then when you get a chance, ask a direct question. At other times, just keep quiet, keep your cool, especially when you're dealing with your boss or somebody who you really dare not interrupt. In social gatherings and with your acquaintances and friends, it really does not matter. However, try as much as possible to avoid being one of those conversation interrupters.
Hello from wherever you're watching us in Nairobi, Kenya, and around the world. Welcome to this live broadcast, the Legends Edition. Well, it's not an easy journey, but I believe in God's faithfulness and breakthrough. These are not my words, dear listeners. These are the words of my colleague, Catherine Kasavuli, and this is her message to you from a hospitable bed. Amply referred to as the television queen, Kasavuli, my colleague and friend, is a little bit under the weather. So tonight, I'm sitting in for her as a way of joining you and the rest of the KBC fraternity in standing with Catherine Kasavuli, one of our own. And I must say that she is extremely grateful for your messages of encouragement and also for coming through for her in whatever way. I know there's some of you who have donated blood. There are those who have sent money to that pay bill that we just saw on air. And this moment, Catherine refers to as her hour of need. Good evening, on this 12th day of November, the year of the Lord 2022. And welcome to the Legends Edition. My name is Mboya, and I indicated that I'm sitting in for my colleague, Catherine Kasavuli. Top in this live broadcast. The bane of drought. 2 die in Baringo North due to famine.
That both parties recognize the need for the people of Ethiopia, wherever they come from, are in need of humanitarian assistance today.
Finally, a truce. Ethiopian government and rival TPLF force sign a permanent cessation of hostilities deal.
Kusaidiana na wenzetu ambao ni watu kupeana humanitarian assistance to the local populace.
Plus, safely in Goma, Kenyan troops under the East African Community Regional Force land in the DRC. Well, Anne Wangeshi is in charge of our sign language docket. 8 days, remember, to go to the FIFA World Cup that's going to take place in Qatar. 28 of those matches will be beamed live right here on KBC Channel 1. And of course, 64 others will be put on our stable, the radio stations. And we encourage all of you to make a date with us. Why? Exclusive rights. Well, once again, thank you for joining us, our socials at KBC Channel 1. My Twitter handle at Mboya24. Straight to our top story. The ongoing drought in parts of the country has now claimed 2 lives in Baringo North. Drought combined with insecurity in the region has dealt a major blow to the pastoralist community. Residents are now looking up to the government to come up with long-term solutions to the perennial drought situation. That report opens our coverage tonight on the Legends Edition.
Sadness has engulfed the village of Ngaratuko, Baringo North, following the demise of 2 people, both women, because of the ravaging drought. The deceased are a mother who gave birth 3 weeks ago and an 80-year-old grandmother. According to locals, the younger woman collapsed and died after drawing water from a borehole several kilometers from her home. Frantic efforts to save her life were made, but unfortunately she passed on.
Kwa sababu ni mama mja ile amezaa ni upungufu wa chakula. Na mimi naenda kutafuta kibarua. Sasa hata kukufa kwake wakati nilienda kutafuta kibarua, kumbe yeye akachokota akaenda maji. Kwenda maji, labda kwa hiyo hali yake ndio akafanya anguke na kusirai.
Henry Chesut, husband to the deceased, who has been left with the infant and 7 other children, says they have been displaced 4 times following insecurity.
2017 Pokot walichukua mali yangu yote kwa huko chini. Nikahamia hapo katikati. Baada ya hapo tena hiyo Ketereselas wakakujia tena, tukahama tena mpaka hii ni mara ya pili nikihamia hapa.
Insecurity in the region has worsened the hunger situation since many families depended on livestock which have been driven away by bandits. Reporting for Legends Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
And by the way, Marsabit is one of the counties that have been worst hit by the ongoing drought. Failed rainfall has seen families lose thousands of livestock over a short period of time. Some locals are now turning to divine intervention, believe it or not, hoping that somehow their prayers can open up the skies. Nancy Okware with the details of a desperate wait for rainfall and a community's will to survive.
Beyond the mountains in Laisamis constituency in Marsabit County lies Ndikir village. Just like in other parts of the county, it has not rained here for the last 2 years. The impact of the failed rainfall quite evident, with carcasses of livestock scattered all over. Mampulian Jasakarbo, a father of 9, knows these all too well. His homestead is almost empty after losing most of his livestock to drought.
Ng'ombe na 4 takufa yote. Ngomea ngapi? 10. Mbuzi karibu 1,000. Pupu.
Mampulian says he was forced to look for other jobs to sustain his family.
Mimi anasema hakuna pesa. Hata kuna watoto anakaa. Nimesikia njaa. Watoto wanalia. Mama yake analia. Mimi ameenda mzuni haki ya Mungu. Kwa ajili stress.
Hakuna mali, sasa mtu anasema mimi ni tajiri. Sisi wote tuko sawa, mali imeisha. Yaani hata ile kidogo tuko naso ameenda kabisa.
Water scarcity is forcing women and children to trek for long hours in search of the precious commodity.
The boreholes that we have in this place are no longer recharging because there's no rain. So people have to leave some of these boreholes. They have to travel long distances to look for water.
Some of the children have been forced to drop out of school to help their parents look for water, pasture, and move their animals to other areas. Despite the prolonged drought in this area, the communities are still hopeful, and on this day, these women are gathered here to pray for the rains. A few kilometers away, we catch up with these herders migrating with their livestock in search of water.
Ng'ole wametoka jana wakuja kulala katikati, na leo bado wanaenda. Zingine zimeisha katikati na bado wanaendelea kwenda mpaka wafike tu Sorolibi waone mali kuna nyasi.
Amid the drought, communities are devising new ways of economically empowering themselves. Some locals are venturing into beekeeping, while others are burning charcoal for a living.
Sisi ni wamama ya group wafugaji wa nyuki hapo. Tuliona nyuki sio ile mali na hama, ni kitu unaweka pamoja alafu unafuga tu iko hapo kwa nyumbani. Ni mzuri sana.
To help conserve the environment, communities are encouraged to practice the farmer-managed natural regeneration that is spearheaded by the World Vision. Through this initiative, degraded croplands, grazing lands and forests are being regenerated, hence reducing vulnerability to climate change.
FMR has been implemented in Kenya since at least 2012, and there's this growing momentum, particularly amongst the communities that have embraced it, but also certain county governments have included this in their annual budget and planning, and I believe that even at the federal level, this method has parliamentarians' attention.
The drought situation in this part of the country is dire, and even as they continue to devise alternative ways of survival, the communities here want their needs addressed before the situation gets out of hand. Nancy Okware, reporting from the Kir area in Laisamis, Marsabit County.
Many thanks, Okware, there for bringing out that report of cases of mothers dying, children, fainting due to hunger, some not even being able to go to school. Very heartbreaking, but obviously we hope that government mitigation efforts will reach those parts of the country that are mostly affected. Let's move away from hunger and drought and get into the space of technology, and government will soon roll out internet connectivity to the remotest parts of the country in efforts to boost digital economy. ICT and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo says that the move will empower youth in such areas so as to leverage the digital income opportunities and also help in tackling youth unemployment. Wycliffe Okech puts that story into perspective.
William Ruto's government will serve all Kenyans indiscriminately, irrespective of the voting patterns that were witnessed during the last elections. We have got one Kenyan people
ICT and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo was in Siaya County, where he flagged off consignments of relief food to be distributed to the needy county residents. This is in addition to other consignments flagged off yesterday to those in dire need of the relief food in the wider Luo Nyanza region. It was during the event that Owalo revealed plans to roll out internet connectivity to the remotest parts of the country as a way to empower the youth.
This week, I launched a free Wi-Fi facility at the city market in Nairobi. We are going to bring free Wi-Fi for the youth up to each and every village in this region.
Owalo said the digital economy bears a great potential to solve the youth unemployment menace if well harnessed.
The days of formal employment, white-collar jobs are gone. If we leverage on ICT, our youth will be able to benefit from digital jobs by way of creativity and innovation.
Area leaders who accompanied the CS lauded government efforts to alleviate the ravaging impact of the ongoing drought, while at the same time pledging their support to alleviate the suffering of those affected.
Let's focus as leaders are elected to ensure that we work and serve our people well.
We have also engaged and we have agreed that as a government we will work with us and support our programs, our development programs as we move towards the future as the people of Kenya.
For the Legends edition from Siaya County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Let's now cross borders and look at the Ethiopian situation. And before we do that, first, the inaugural Kenyan contingent troops under the East African Community Regional Force, EACRF, landed safely at Goma International Airport Saturday in the afternoon for a peacekeeping mission at the war-torn Democratic Republic of Congo. The KDF soldiers were flagged off by the Chief of Defense Forces, General Robert Kibochi. That happened at Embakasi Garrison right here in Nairobi, Kenya. Kibochi urged the troops to remain disciplined amongst themselves, but further enhance good relationships with the people of DRC as well as other peacekeepers operating within that space.
Democratic Republic of Congo is a country rich of minerals within the heart of Africa. However, a rebel group named M23 has been leading attacks in various mining sites in the region as they battle for control of the mines, leading to loss of lives and property. Heavy fighting between the army and the M23 was ongoing at Rugari in North Kivu on Friday in a bid to foster unity in the country. The EAC sent troops to help in disarmament and demobilization for the rebel group. Saturday morning, Chief of Defense Forces of Kenya, General Robert Kibochi, flagged off Kenyan troops to DR Congo.
La muhimu la kwanza ni kwamba lazima mheshimu wale ambao ni wenye nchi ile, lazima mheshimu wakubwa wote, si wa jeshi la Kenya peke yake, wale wote ambao watakuwa katika jeshi la Afrika Mashariki. Tunaelewana? Yes, sir. Na mkiwa na nidhamu ya juu ambayo inajulikana, nafikiria hakuna kazi yote ambayo itatushinda.
The troops landed safe at Goma International Airport and will be based in the largest city in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
Na tuko na mandate ambao mandate yetu ni vitu ine peke yake. Ya kwanza ni kwamba tushirikiane pamoja na wenzetu kutoka FRDC tuweze kutoa ile watu ambao wanaitwa negative forces. Alafu kitu cha pili ni kusaidiana na wenzetu ambao ni watu wa kupeana humanitarian assistance to the local populace. Then kitu cha kingine ni kwamba hii mambo ya mitutu zimekuwa mingi katika eneo hii kulingana na ile safari tumepata ya kwamba tuweze kusaidia kwa kitu inaitwa DDR process.
Wakati nyumba ya mwenzie imelungula na unaona ndugu yako anakuja kwa ajili ya kuunga mkono ili mpate kuzima hiyo moto, ni kitu cha furaha sana, na tunashukuru sana kwa ajili ya ndugu yetu wa Kenya ambao wanakubali kuja kutuunga mkono wakati nchi yetu, raia wetu wako nateseka kwa ajili ya negative force.
The regional force, agreed upon by heads of state in June and led by a Kenyan commander, also has 2 battalions from Uganda, 2 from Burundi and 1 from South Sudan.
The Kenyan troops are expected to be in the Democratic Republic of Congo for a period of 6 months with an aim of fostering peace and unity in this war-torn country, with the M23 rebel group affecting the lives of so many citizens who have been forced to flee to other neighboring countries for their safety. Reporting from Goma in Democratic Republic of Congo, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Thank you, Fred. Now let's move 2,540 kilometers up north into Ethiopia, where the Ethiopian government and rival Tigray People's Liberation Front forces, who control the northern Tigray region, on Saturday signed a permanent cessation of hostilities deal in a bid to end one of Africa's recent bloodiest civil war. That's according to the signed agreement. The warring parties will cease hostilities and silence guns in principle in the war-torn Tigray region and work on ending the 2-year-old war without further delay. Here is that report.
The signing of the agreements between the Ethiopian government and rival Tigray People's Liberation Front forces, which comes after days of intense negotiations, marks an important milestone in the African Union-led mediation process that began in October this year. Both parties from Ethiopia and Tigray said they are committed to bring peace in the country for a prosperous future.
We want to express our full commitment for bringing peace and stability to our people and country. Therefore, we will fully dedicate ourselves to implement the Pretoria Agreement and this declaration.
The commitment we are making today is with the hope that expectations that our people's suffering will come to an end soon.
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has been leading peace talks in the region since his time in office, said he's confident the 2 parties will work together for the betterment of their country and region.
It is indeed my belief that the same spirit of collaboration that they have shown, the same spirit of love for their people that they have shown, the same spirit of understanding that peace does not come from one side but from all parties, is what shall continue to prevail.
We must commend the leaders on both sides for their good faith, for their consideration of the best for the good of all the people of Ethiopia, particularly the ordinary people of Ethiopia.
Also present at the peace talks were Ethiopia's National Defense Forces Chief of Defense Marshal Birhanu Jule and Tigray People's Liberation Front Forces Head General Tedesse Worede, alongside African Union's envoy to the Horn of Africa region, Olusegun Obasanjo, who is the former president of Nigeria.
There are days when you think, oh, leo na deserve, so order a Glovo. Days when plans inachelewa, what if you order a Glovo? Or days when you can't control everything. Or yes, because on Glovo you can order anything you want. Glovo, you order, we get it.
Kupata maisha kama skiza tune yako, bonyeza star 811 star 816 hash.
Maisha ni mafupi, hivyo si vyema kumaliza muda mwingi katika malumbano. Hesabu baraka zako, wathamini rafiki zako na tabasamu ili udumishe amani.
Kupata maisha, bonyeza star 811 star 816 hash. Star 811 star 816 hash.
November like never before. Mouth-watering programs. Maza takes a break, and in comes football extravaganza. And a bouquet of the best of movies from the Orient lined up for you. Oh yes, November 2022 is like never before. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back to KBC, our socials at KBC Channel 1, my Twitter handle at Mboya. Of course, a number of you are already speaking to us on those platforms. We have Alpha Sad Kimoto, who is, standing with Catherine Kasavuli and saying every village in Kenya has a patient. Please, each one of us should be inspired to assist those who are near, dear, and the ones who have collaborated. I'm sure Kasavuli's circle will raise enough to meet her needs. Dorcas Munyao, don't say where you are, but you're saying quick recovery. Catherine Kasavuli, you have Waihenya Mwangi, who's saying quick recovery. Geoffrey Muturi, God see you through. Nam Duri, may Lord heal the legend. Miski, get well soon. There's so many, lots of messages coming through, and we're really grateful that, you're empathizing with the situation here. So just keep talking to us on those platforms. Now, colleagues, friends and close family members gathered in Musire village. That's a village in Butula, sub-county of Busia County. And the reason they came together was to pay their last respect to Josephine Adair. Until Josephine's demise, she was a studio technical operator right here at the Broadcasting House. The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation fraternity has eulogized Adair as a hard-working, diligent and self-motivated worker who will be sorely missed by her colleagues and the corporation as a whole.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, Management and the staff of KBC, I take this opportunity to convey our heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Josephine Adair, who passed away on 2nd November 2022. The sad news of Adair's demise was received by the KBC community with deep sorrow and shock. This indeed is a very sad occasion for KBC fraternity. We have lost an exemplary staff member, but we also know that you have lost a loving wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, an auntie, and a friend.
Friends and family echoing the sentiments as they recall the last moments with Adair as she bravely battled cancer.
When Adair got to know that she was unwell, she first of all lied to me, and she told me that she didn't want to tell me that it was cancer stage 4 because she didn't want to break my heart. But then I had to really get to know it because finally she had to tell me the truth. And I all along knew that Adair was going to be well because she had very high hopes. She was somebody who was very strong.
She was our last born, my friend. Yeah, we've lost a dear one.
And Josephine, we will miss you, but your family and your children will miss you more.
As a supervisor or as a boss, whenever you notice that there's an employee who goes out of his or her way to perform well beyond expectation, it's always good to always recognize that type of workmanship.
She is survived by a husband and 5 children.
Josephine Adair, fare thee well. You'll surely be missed. Somebody once told me that even one day, cancer will die. Well, let's take you to the other studio where my senior, Topi Liamvela, who has done a great job coordinating us around the Catherine Kasavuli matter. Topi, how are you, Baba?
Very fine, Tom, and thank you very much for that very nice introduction. We will come to you with the rest of the sports. I'm Topi Lembila, as just rightly introduced by Tom, and we shall come back with the rest of the sport just after this break.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe.
Waswahili husema cha uvundo hakiliki, lakini hapa Lenana leo hakuna uvundo, chalika.
Ndio the sons of Mashariki, tajulikana hadi magharibi, na kama huamini tupe muda.
Na hakika kuwa hakuna mzazi anayeketi na kumpea wosia au anayeketi na mzazi na mtoto wake na kumpea mawaidha asiyofaa. Je, ni mzazi mgani atakayeketi na mtoto wake na kumwambia kwamba shiriki ufuska?
Mwenyezi Mungu mwenyewe alimpa mzazi juhudi la kumpa mwanadamu huyu mchanga mafunzo yake ya kwanza kabisa duniani hapa.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe, kwani lugha ya
Another day, another Saturday, and we are with the sports segment of the Legends Edition this Saturday. And as usual, we've got plenty of sports, so just button up and belt up and be with us throughout this KBC Channel 1. And remember, the World Cup is just 8 days to go. So that is why we start again with the World Cup story. Now, Liverpool star Thiago, Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea, and Paris Saint-Germain's Sergio Ramos were left out of Spain's World Cup squad, which was named by head coach Luis Enrique. Spain are in Group E together with Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan. The 2022 World Cup finals will be broadcast live on KBC Channel 1 television and all the KBC radio stations. World Cup Eco, KBC.
Head coach Luis Enrique has opted to select a youthful side for Qatar 2022, with Barcelona starlets Ansu Fati, Pedri and Gavi being included in the 26-man squad. However, Liverpool midfielder Thiago Alcantara and Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea, Paris Saint-Germain defender Sergio Ramos and Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga miss out. Chelsea's Cesar Azpilicueta is among 5 Premier League players included. Brighton's Robert Sanchez and Brentford's David Raya are also in the squad. Meanwhile, Inter Milan striker Romelu Lukaku has been named in Roberto Martinez's Belgium World Cup squad despite concerns over his fitness. Manchester City midfielder Kevin De Bruyne has been selected alongside 6 Premier League players. Leicester City trio Wout Faes, Timothy Castagne and Yuri Tillemans are among the players named. Elsewhere, Bayern Munich star Sadio Mane has been named in Senegal's 2022 World Cup squad despite suffering an injury against Werder Bremen on Tuesday. Senegal begins their World Cup campaign on the 21st of this month against the Netherlands, and Mane will be crucial in their hopes for emerging in a group that also includes host nation Qatar and Ecuador.
Now, leaving out the 3 stars who did duty for Spain in the last World Cup is just an indication that Spain could again be one of the top contenders in this World Cup edition. Now, locally, the Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Ababu Namwamba, has announced that a new stadium will be constructed in honor of the first African Olympic medalist, Wilson Kiprugut Chumo. Speaking in Kericho during the funeral service of the 84-year-old former Olympic medalist, Namwamba said Kenyans who owe a hero on an apology as Kiprugut Chumo goes to the grave without a single accolade. The Sears also pledged to upgrade the status of Kericho Green Stadium and the historic Kapkatet Stadium, which he said was in a dilapidated state. Leaders drawn from different political divides as well as Athletics Kenya called on leaders not to forget heroes who have put Kenya on the map. Kiprugut won a bronze medal in the 800 meters at the 1964 Olympics in Tokyo, Japan, and followed that up with a silver medal over the same distance in Mexico City 4 years later.
This country has not treated its heroes well. We haven't. In fact, as a country, we owe an apology to our greats. All the greats, starting with Kiprugut, that we lay to rest today, to this great man that is still breathing, Kipchoge Keino. Mimi nimekubali mwito wa viongozi wa kaunti hii. Mimi niko tayari. Show me the land, we build a stadium. Gavana, kazi kwako. That it will be called Wilson Chumo Kiprugut Memorial Stadium.
Blue Ocean Swimming Club, Hillcrest International School and Breban Swimming Club currently lead the chase in the ongoing Nairobi County Aquatic Association Level 3 Swimming Championships being held at the Kasarani Stadium. Over 1,000 swimmers are taking part in the 2-day event, all eyeing a slot to represent Kenya in the Kana Zone 3 Championships set to be held in Arusha, Tanzania.
The competition attracted over 1,000 swimmers aged 10 years and above and will help to choose a team to represent Kenya in the Kana Zone 3 Championships set to be held in Arusha. Bianchi Maria of Blue Ocean Swimming Club was the winner in the girls category as she gathered 23 points.
Today I did 100 back, 200 free, 200 IM and 200 breaststroke. I did well. I PB'd in most of my events, otherwise I maintained my times. In a few years, I would like to keep swimming and keep competing. I'd like to just keep going.
In men's category, the Brusman Marvin of Bruban Swimming Club was the first with 15 points. Bachelini Samir of Blue Ocean Swimming Club and Kyoko Jesse of Rusinga International School were second with 14 points each.
I performed in 100 back, 100 breast and 200 IM. I performed very well. I came first and in one of the events I made a new time.
While Bachelini Samir of Blue Ocean Swimming Club and Kyoko Jesse of Rusinga International School was second with 14 points each.
Encouraging swimmers within Nairobi and its environments to take it seriously and practice, and also get into what we call mainstream competitions like this one, so that at least they are somewhere in terms of ranking. Because swimming is all about time and ranking. If you have the best time, then you have the best opportunity to represent this country wherever the international competitions are happening. We have swimmers who are going to represent Kenya through the Masters Series to swim in Kana through the Kana, the Masters age category. Around 2 or 3 of them. That's a pride.
For Legends Edition, I'm Sela Onyango.
Now, Women's Handball League leaders Nairobi Water consolidated their lead at the top of the league standings after beating Rising Star 54-9 in a match played at the Kaloleni Handball Court in Nairobi. In other results, NCPB beat Daystar University 53-15, while Nairobi Cereals defeated New Hope 29-21. Kenyatta University trounced the Rising Star 42-17. Nairobi Water now tops the league standings with 27 points, followed by Ulinzi Sharks with 20 points. Etiquette Master, who is the Secretary General of the Kenya Kickboxing Federation, has been at the forefront of all the efforts to make the sport popular in this country. Takid, who is also a trainer, says the sport is a viable venture that can uplift the living standards of young people only if it gets enough resources. Takid, who is married to a former national heavyweight champion, Cecil Mora, says his main goal is to nurture talent right at the grassroots level.
Takid started to nurture his interest in kickboxing when he was a kid.
I'm Takid Master, the Kenya Kickboxing Federation Competition Secretary. I'm the one who organizes competitions nationally, and I do certify after every competition.
He has been raised through different stages, and away from being a national coach, Takid has incorporated his family into kickboxing, and he now trains his wife and kids.
2, 3, 4, 5, 2.
His two children, Milk and Killion, followed his footsteps in the Wayang. However, their motivation to join his father's occupation was different.
Juu nikiwa mdogo vile nilizaliwa, sasa tukiwa kwa nyumba tu naona tu mzee akipiga wa target kwa nyumba, ikanibamba, ndo nikaingia tu kickboxing na taekwondo.
And through kickboxing, Takid has made some sweet memories and achievements too.
In the ring, I've been there. I've been there for karate because I started martial arts when I was 12 years. Then I did karate. It was known as one word. Nowadays it's known as Tongil Modo. I mean, the best memories only when I achieve in organizing tournaments, then they become successful.
What next after kickboxing?
I want to be remembered by, let me say, only making the country achieve it internationally. That's my main goal. Because even right now, I'm pushing hard to make sure the national team is well trained. We select the best as per how it should be.
And to the upcoming stars, Takid has also urged the government to support them financially in a bid to acquire proper facilities. For the Legends edition, Mwere Moses.
And, with that, we end our sports segment today on this Legends edition. I'm Topi Lembila, and of course, on behalf of those runners who are on the grounds, Moses, Nora, and Fred, we hope that you tune in again next Saturday for another Legends edition of the sports segment. I'll now hand you over to my colleague, Tom Mboya, to wrap up.
Oh, Topi Liambila. By the way, Topi, I know you're in the other studio, but now I know how it feels to be close to power.
I know it's been great, and I know we're also tuning in for the World Cup, Tom.
Yeah.
What's your team?
Close to my chest, that card. But it has to be from the continent of Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that is good. Well, mine was Harambee Stars, but they're not there, so I'll settle for Senegal or Cameroon.
Senegal or Cameroon?
Yeah.
Ghana?
No, I think Ghana, Ghana also has, but the front runners from the continent, definitely Senegal and Cameroon.
and Cameroon.
And Tunisia also has got also very good players, so they should also be able to make a good account of themselves. Also, of course, not forgetting Morocco as well. And remember that what I've been saying is that the Qatar climate will favor the African teams.
The African people, By the way, Topi, before I let you go, what's your crystal ball telling you? Who do you think is going to emerge tops at the end of all this?
At the end of the World Cup?
Where are you placing your bet?
I think for my bet, I'm keeping it like what you say, close to my chest.
That's a good one.
Right now, what we are trying to say is that, it's not easy to predict. Until maybe after the first round games. That's when we shall, for sure say we can go for this.
Safi, tell Kasavuli something tonight.
Definitely.
Tell Kasavuli something.
Oh, yeah, Catherine, we have been with Catherine for a long time. We started here. She actually literally introduced me to broadcasting along with Rosemary Musumba.
Okay.
So we have walked the walk with her. From KBC, we went to KTN, and now we are back again at KBC, done a 360 with her.
Okay.
So obviously, it's really heartbreaking that, she's not around to be with us. But very soon, we pray and hope that she'll be back again on our screens.
Thank you.
And we shall really welcome her back.
Thank you, Topi Liambila there, bring us the day sports. There's also Rukia Salim. I don't know where she is. She doesn't say where she is, but she says chochote Mola amewajalia toa, ukiwa na uwezo hata sala zitamfikia. The pay bill number, I don't know whether my director will splash it on the screen. The pay bill number is 8089700. And for those who really want to help our sister, the account number is Catherine Kasavule. Okay? Well, that's it. On behalf of the Legends Edition team, including Anu Angeshi, who was in charge of the sign language docket, and my senior, Topi Liambila. I feel great that we are on set for the first time ever since I started my career in journalism. I want to thank you also from home, wherever you're watching us, for making time to be with us. My name is Tom Mboya, and we'll leave you with the Living Legends segment. My colleague Daniel Wahome spoke to Karanja Kimwere, who is a former sports controller right here on KBC from Nairobi, Kenya. Good night. Happy Sabbath, Saints. Bye-bye.
Welcome to today's edition of The Living Legends. My name is Daniel Wahome. And in today's episode, we speak to a man who worked at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation for 27 years. If you think of the programs Joy Bringers, Sing and Shine, you can also think of Omo Pika Box, a game show that was quite popular then. You can also think about sports at KBC, all the broadcasts of the World Cup, World Athletics Championships, and the Olympics. He was all around them and was involved directly. If you are to think of KBC then as your true sports partner on The Living Legends, we speak to a former controller of sport in this corporation, Bwana Karanja Kimwere.
Hello.
First of all, welcome back to this house, this studio. This was your real place of work for 27 years.
Yeah, this was home. This studio was my place of work for 27 years. I would come here every day, and that's why I love KBC.
Yeah. Well, let's start with this biographical story, your early life and education.
Well, I come from Embu. Well, my father took us to Embu when he was released from the detention, Mau Mau detention. He was a veteran in the Mau Mau movement. He was a gun maker, and he was jailed in a small prison called Karaba. When he was released, he came for us from Limuru town, where our home was. And so I come from Karaba. I went to Karaba Primary School. No, I went to Manguo Primary School in Limuru, then I went to Karaba Primary School, Karaba Secondary School, and after my Form 4, I went to Kirimara High School for my A-levels. And basically, that's my basic education. From there, I went to KMC.
That's Kenya Institute of Mass Communication.
Communication to do television. And then I don't know how early you wanted to up to that point.
After that, I mean, we can talk about, studying television production and the curriculum then. Just give us a background into it.
Well, at the Kenya Institute of Mass Communications, we were very lucky to meet some of the best producers maybe that ever lived. We had Greg Adambo, who ended up being a television programs manager here at KBC. And we had one great teacher, the late Seth Adagala. These are the people who molded us and who introduced television to us. And they taught us every aspect of television production. And whatever I did here was basically on what they taught me. Of course, I later on moved on. I went abroad and honed even more and got more experience. And I was taught many other things, but basically KMC.
Let me come to some of the productions that you touched. One is a musical one, gospel, Sing and Shine. How was it conceived and brought to life? And everyone would look out for that moment to at least now visualize the gospel artist they knew.
Yes, when I came to KBC, we didn't have gospel singers in this country. We had choirs, and one or two, like Kenneth Owol, who sang "Just Go There" and "Ring Number 9." Those individuals. And then I sat down and wondered, these choirs, all these choirs, they just sing on Sunday, you go home. Some of them are very good. We have got individual talents in those groups who are very good. Why don't I bring them out and feature them on their own and then see what happens? I spoke to my boss. I spoke to my immediate boss, Mr. Benson Zubey, and I spoke to my production manager, Mr. Simeon Anabwani, and they told me, go ahead, do what you want to do. So I went, picked several singers, individual singers from different choirs. And then I approached a group in Nairobi called the Youth for Christ. I asked them to come and back these people, back these youngsters with their instruments. And they agreed, because you are a good singer, but since you don't have any professional backing, nobody knows you. But when you introduce professional instrumentation, the person comes out. That's how you came up with people like Etienne. That's how you came up with people like Jeffrey Kasang. And they started coming out like that. And we had a permanent backup team here in the studio. If somebody comes from Homa Bay to Nairobi and can sing, we just put you in front of those people and they sing. And people, I'm happy that you appreciated it so much that Sing and Shine went up. Then Joy Bringers.
Yes.
Then you'd ask, what's the difference? During my time, I wanted to create different points of reference in terms of spiritual matters. During my time, we had only the Catholic bishops, Mwananzeki, we had the Reverend John Gatu, the Archbishop of Anglican Church, yet we had very many men and women of God who could use as point of reference for spiritual matters. So I decided we incorporate pastors in Joy Bringers and then introduce also music, which will also help in promoting our local talents. And I had a silent policy. If you're not Kenyan, you don't feature.
That was a rule.
If you're not Kenyan, you don't feature. The first person to be featured, a foreigner, was Faustin Munishi. Because if you don't put Kenyans, then you start bringing Tanzanians here, then that program becomes a Tanzanian program, and you now promote your own people. And that's why you see gospel music went up, because we kept on telling you, listen to Mary Atieno, listen to Esther Wahome, listen to those people, and people now appreciate them. And gospel music industry, where it is.
Now, looking at how that started, because previously it was just the audio studio that was known, and today every gospel artist has a video as a standard.
Yeah.
How did it evolve in over the years?
once we started shooting Sing and Shine, we shoot it outside. You'll see some of our, when you get my photographs, you see some of the old pictures we shot outside using an ENG, the older version of what you are using today. And when people started seeing that, definitely very creative people outside there thought this is a good way, this is good business, and therefore they would go shoot videos and market them and make money. And that's exactly what we wanted here at KBC. You open up the ground, make these people understand you can make money. If you're not employed in an office, you can go sing music and be great. They came to visit me the other day, and I was shocked. 150 of them came to visit me, and all of them were driving the huge cars. Yet the youngsters, they used to record in this studio. And I was very happy, because that's exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah. Now, let's move to another one, Omo Pika Box, the game show.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Omo Pika Box was initially was recorded in this studio. The first director was Sami Yando, with the Level 1 Productions, Moses Nderito, the company they recorded here briefly. Then I think the demands of the clients were a bit higher. So Level 1 decided to go to studios at Jamhuri Park. There are some studios there, and they wanted a director. And somehow I got it. And I did Omo Pika Box, but not many people knew that I'm the one directing it, because I didn't want to use my name, Karanja Kimwere, and then the following day my boss is asking me what I'm doing out there with. But I did record, I did direct those programs, but they were produced by Level 1, that is Moses Nderito, produced. He was and the Omo people were the clients. It was an enjoyable show, as you rightly say, and it was a big show, and a 7-camera production. We used 7 cameras, and it was very challenging, and I liked it.
The World Cup equal KBC.
Yeah.
And let's think of KBC broadcasting the World Cup. What has been the story? 82, 86, think of 1990, and USA 1994.
Yes, after my stint after doing those job bringers for quite a while, I think my bosses decided they wanted me to go to a much more serious area, and that was sports. Acquisition of rights for these sports is very competitive and very difficult, and it is cutthroat. When I joined sports, the same year I joined the sports, the World Cup was given to TV Africa for Kenya. I mean, TV Africa was supposed to transmit World Cup here. So we didn't have the rights. And my boss started telling me, Karanja, you have to look for the World Cup. How can it not be in KBC and we are the national broadcaster? And therefore, I went and saw that small talk of being the national broadcaster out there. I was told, what do you mean? You don't own the rights? If you want these rights, come pole. And I knew we were done. So I decided I will not go officially. I went to TV Africa themselves, the owners, the ones who had rights, and I met the managing director. And I introduced myself. I'm from Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, and you people have the rights. They told me, yes, we have the rights now. If you people want to buy, you are not supposed to transmit. I said, yes, I know. But I proposed to him, you are like a man with a big apple, and you want to take it home across the river. And here I am with a big boat with no cargo. Why don't you bring your apple, put it on our boat, you take it across the river? They bought that. We are a big station with wide audience. Why don't you bring a World Cup to KBC? We partner and then market it together. And they bought. I came to my boss, a good gentleman called Joe Hamisi, told me that's good. You have talked with them and they have agreed, yes. Let us move. He called his deputy, Mr. Mr. Caxton Munyoki, and I officially told him to go and enter into that agreement. So we entered, we agreed. We marketed it together and shared the revenue 60-40. 60 theirs, 40 hours, because they own the rights.
Yes.
And you see, that's how we were able to transmit the World Cup. Come to...
That was 2000. That was the 2002 World Cup, Japan, South Korea. But let's just go back to 1998.
Yeah.
And we had African voices on commentary. Bernard Otieno was there when the World Cup was in France. How was that achieved for KBC?
No, it was... Yeah, I'm trying to remember how we introduced Bikina Bernard Otieno. They must have been here. The one I remember very well, let me go back to Germany. That was France.
Yes.
No,
France in 1980s.
There was a World Cup in Germany.
2006.
2006. That's where we sent even commentators there. We sent Jaco Sylvester and Ali Salim Manga. The position was this. We were always hearing international commentators commentating football and telling us, and we don't hear our own people doing it. That's why we introduced those commentators to broadcast it on radio. Remember, we had the rights.
Yes.
We had the rights. And but for radio, some people would say, but since you're not broadcasting it on radio, why don't we use the screen and broadcast it? So to stop that, we sent Jaco Sylvester, so that our radio listeners would listen to what is going on there. And we had a good show. I know what you're talking about, Mohamed Juma Jogona.
Mohamed Juma Jogona, 2002 is the one who'd hop from Japan to South Korea.
Yes, he would do that. And that had a lot of rights controversies, because when you get the rights for radio, you can't jump onto TV. Yeah, you can't. But you see, there was a lacuna in this country that you could do this and go away with it. That's how Mohamed Juma Jogona was able to broadcast for you from Japan to Korea, back from Korea back to Japan. But I must say, rights issues are very complicated issues. I brought in the owners of the rights in 2006. That was a LIM International, LIM. And I was able to bring the owner of LIM International here. And we went to the office and discussed the rights, and KBC got the rights for Kenya. But then the rights fee was very high, 20 million, and over 20 million shillings. And then Mr. Washira Warudu then was the managing director. I sat down with him and we agreed, why don't you look for partners so that we can pay that debt? And we got KTN on board. If you remember, KTN came on board.
Yes.
And they were able to pay their 12 million, he paid 12 million. And we were able to market together. And in that partnership, I remember Washira Waruru from KBC side approached Celtel, and one phone call brought in 40 million in sponsorship. So you see, we made quite an amount of money.
That's 16 million clean. from the key sponsor.
Yes, and then we were able to get other sponsors because there were several products which were created. We created a World Cup broadcast, and we created several small products. Like John Onyongesa would come up with the like a Samsung moment, and then you have you have the goals table. People would come and sponsor all that, and at the end of the day, KBC was able to make 100 million shillings with KTN. But KTN did not transmit all the matches because they say they have a brand and there are some matches they are not going to transmit. As we transmitted them, they will not transmit. So our marketing department came and told them, okay, we will count the number of matches you transmitted and pay you for those. So that's how it went. I think that is business.
And let's also talk about other events. You've, even as a outside of being a director and that, I mean, covering events, think of the athletics championships, and telling the story from out there, the Olympic Games. What was the scene then, and how has it changed now?
Yeah, the Olympic Games, you have to get rights to transmit the Olympic Games, and we did not want to have commentators who were telling us stories about Kipchoge. Well, he's Kenyan and we are Kenyan, so we agreed we send our own commentators. That's where you have people like Mboya, Kimeu, Shiveka, those kind of people, Berwavinya. They went to do that and give us the first-hand information about our own people. I think every country does that. Kenya, KBC was not doing that, but we woke up and decided doing that. We did the Africa Cup of Nations, no, not Africa Cup of Nations, we did the All Africa Games, if you remember, at Kasarani?
Yes, 1987.
1987. That's where we did our All Africa Games. Somebody had said we should hire an outsider to come and do it for us, but we did not, we refused, and we did it. I remember the directors of the day. I was among the directors of the Africa Cup of Nations, especially the opening ceremony.
Yeah, All Africa Games.
All Africa Games, sorry. All Africa Games. Samuel Yando and Benson Dubey opened up, and then I was left to do the rest. And it was successful, and we were happy.
By the way, what were the biggest learning lessons for the team at KBC covering the African Games? Because I know there was that's when some of the OB equipment came in. There was always action, maybe some from Charter Hall where there was boxing. I think the City Park Stadium had just been built, and athletics, and football at Nyayo.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning. There was a lot of learning, and not only for KBC, but I think for the country. When you apply to have the World Cup here or the All Africa Games, you must invest in infrastructure, cameras, and the camera crew. Camera crew, all those things which go with that. You have to invest a lot, and we can make. But then you see, these cameras are not cheap; they're very expensive.
Yes.
If the government would want to cover those things, and you have to buy about 400 cameras, which costs about maybe 6 million each, they'll say no. But if you want to succeed, you watched the Commonwealth Games in Britain.
Yes.
You saw how many cameras they had along the road, everywhere, in all those stadiums. Not rushing with the two cameras to the gymnasium, ukimaliza hapo na kimbizwa tenda huku kwa weightlifting, na the same cameras, the same cameramen. They had cameras in every single stadium. And that's what we are supposed to do. This is a sporting country. This is a sporting nation. We need to invest in those broadcast equipment. And even if the government does that, instead of us hearing they want to hire outsiders, if our competitors, for instance, get the rights, the government should come and give them those equipment and tell them, now, you have the infrastructure, maybe you pay us this much, some little amount, but do it using our own equipment, but not hire somebody from outside to come and do it for us. Then they bring in their cameras here, their own cameramen, and they are talking about joblessness. Yeah, we need our own people.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for gracing us on the Living Legends.
Thank you very much.
I will tell you that when a story about me and Mr. Karanja, that he auditioned me for commentary in this very studio. And he had the faith, and he's mentioned people we've worked with. Omole Asiko, who's now based in Kisumu, Mary Wavinya, who's here with us, Elina Shiveka, who's now heading the sports division, and many other people who've worked here in KBC and outside. Thank you very much, Bwana Karanja Kimwere.
Thank you. One last thing.
Yes.
Anybody who is in position like you, I would urge you to mentor others. I mentored you, you became what you became. Get somebody else and mentor him, so that when you are gone like me, you come back and you'd say he meant that to me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Tusaidiane. Yeah. Hold each other as we go up the ladder. That is the message. Thank you very much, Mr. Karanja Kimwere, for gracing the living legends. A producer, think of programs like Sing and Shine, Omo Pika Box, Joy Bringers, and also lots of World Cups that KBC has broadcast. He has ensured that they were delivered to your homes through KBC Channel 1. And remember, World Cup, Iko KBC. My name is Daniel Wahome. Thank you for being with us.